So, this ballet I saw when I was 13 years old, and I watched this VHS tape back then. And I saw this ballet and I was like, wow, this music, the dancers. I was like, I wanted to work with who created this ballet, this choreographer. And then the name of this choreographer is William Forsythe, and he's a very prestigious choreographer in the ballet world, and he's still alive. Most of the ballet choreographers, they already like that, but he's alive. And I was like, I want to work with him. And so, because like the music, as you guys heard, to me, it provoked me to like really move myself to the maximum that I can do it. And what I like to do when I dance, it's like to take people with me, to go on a trip, to explore and to provoke you guys to think about art, what we do. And so when I was younger in my ballet school, my friend asked me to watch this documentary about this big star in ballet world. Her name is Sylvie Glenn, and she was like a Paris Opera étoile. And she was working with him, and I was like, I want to work with him. And so when I started, I was just like, I didn't know that I was gonna go out of Brazil. I was just like, can I do my best? Like, not only 100%, but 150% to make myself look good. And I did, and that's what got me here to get my international career. But back in Brazil, I started doing a professional ballet career when I was 14 years old. And after 2 years, I came to New York City to work with the American Ballet Theater when I was 16 years old. And back then, like, I didn't speak any English. I was speaking a little bit of Spanish because my ballet teacher in Brazil, she was from Argentina, from Teatro Colón. And I couldn't practice with her, but that was the only other language besides Portuguese. But that saved me a lot because there was a lot of people who speak Spanish back then in the company. But I remember like when I first arrived, 2 days before, I didn't have a place to live yet. So it was my friend actually from Paraguay who got me someone who was living in Brooklyn, actually in Coney Island. And I got this house and I lived there for a year. And I had to do this commute from like, actually Brighton Beach next to Coney Island to Manhattan on Union Square. So it was almost like an hour every day for a whole year. So, and in my first year with the American Ballet Theater, I was traveling a lot, and my first trip was like a whole month in California. I got to opportunity to visit and dance and learn so many different cultures in this country, and also outside. We used to travel also international. But then after 3 years, I decided to change and see some other companies, and I auditioned to New York to Boston Ballet and Washington Ballet. But then I heard like this rumor of William Forsythe was gonna sign a 10 years contract with Boston Ballet. And I was like, I wanna go there, I wanna try there. And then I got a contract for both companies, but I decided to come to Boston because of him. And I remember like my first time when he arrived in the room, I felt like the energy, the air changed, everything got more danced. And when he chose me to like show a piece of his ballet, I was so nervous. I was like, I cannot mess this up. And I was just like showing everything. And then he was like, it was so much fun. And I'm so grateful that I had this opportunity to work with him. And after 12 years work with Boston Ballet and with him as well, I realized that when I was young, I saw this documentary and I wanted to do this ballet, and believe it or not, but the last ballet I did from him was this one. And that was like the close of my career. So it was like, I think it was like a full moment, like full circle around, and it was so good. But after so many years of professional career, injuries happen because we are athletes and we get injured, we come back, we get injured and come back. But then I had this injury in my hip that I could not go back. So I got the diagnostic of arthritis on my hip, and I went to several doctors. I went to a second opinion, third opinion, and they all told me like it's an ending career.